G'day, Spuddies. How you going? It's day 155 today, and things are going well for me. I'm feeling good. I met James Aspie yesterday, which was pretty cool, and I bought a t-shirt and had a good chat. And what a great guy he is. And anyway, on to today's topic. I have had quite a few questions recently, throughout the year, but especially recently about why specifically I chose potatoes and not anything else, and were there any other options that I thought of before deciding on potatoes, and why didn't I choose those? And anyway, I'll read you this question. I got an email from Hakan from Sweden. Thanks for writing, Hakan. Thank you. Good to hear from you. There's more to it than this, but I'll just read you the questions that he asked. So, he said, I know you did some research before you started your journey and that you ended up choosing potatoes as your food going forward. I wonder if there was any other kind of food you considered. I wonder if, for example, rice was a consideration. If so, why didn't you pick that? Just curious. Thanks for what you're doing. Oh, you don't need to hear that bit. That's the end of the question. All right, so yes, I did consider other things. I did do quite a bit of research, and when I first decided to see if it was possible to live on one kind of food, I'm going to go back. I'm going to take you back first. We'll get back to that. So, a little bit more about my past. I have tried lots of things. One of the things I've tried in the past was an extended juice fast, and I did that after watching the movie Fat, Sick and Nearly Dead, which I thought was a really good movie, and I really enjoyed the juice fast. I did 43 days of only juice, and it was a really incredible and amazing experience, and I loved it. But in the end, I put the weight back on, and it wasn't a sustainable thing. To live on juice, it didn't really solve the issues, and I did think of trying that again, but the thing for me was that there's a couple of things. Number one is juice doesn't have fibre, and fibre is very important. I think it's okay to do a juice fast. I don't think it's going to hurt you in the long term. I think it's okay, but in the end, a juice fast means you're not eating food, and my problem wasn't doing the juice fast. That was okay, but the problem was that I wasn't practicing eating food, and like I was basically not eating, and I wanted to still be eating and learning how to eat properly rather than just totally avoiding eating altogether. If I could quit food entirely, I would, but obviously I can't. So in that case, I need to learn how to eat better, and not eating at all isn't learning how to eat better. Other considerations with the juice fast were that it was expensive because you've got to buy a lot of greens and a lot of fruit and stuff. It got expensive, and it was time consuming to prepare it all and clean up after it and all that. So that was also considerations of why I didn't want to do that. Other considerations, I thought of doing green smoothies only, which obviously would have had the fibre still, not fully intact food. So drinking food, you got issues, whether it's smoothies or juices, then there are issues of consuming too many calories because it's easier to consume so much food when you're just drinking it. But I do love a good green smoothie. I don't think I'll have them after this year as often as I did before, but I think I'll probably still have the odd smoothie because they're just delicious and they are healthy. They're just it's easier to consume more calories, so I think it's probably something I'll keep to a minimum. What else did I considered? Also considered bananas. Bananas are very, very nutritious. They've also they've got a lot of they've got, as far as I could tell, they've got everything you need. Mangoes as well. Mangoes were a consideration. I also considered following the rice diet. If you look up a guy called Walter Kempner, he came up with a thing called the rice diet, which was plain white rice with fruit and sugar, a bit of sugar as well. and that was an extremely successful diet for weight loss and for curing a large variety of diseases. Dr. McDougall's written extensively about the Walter Kempner's rice diet, and that was certainly a consideration too. So to answer the question, Hakan, about did I consider rice? Well, rice on its own doesn't provide everything you need, but the rice diet, which includes fruit and some sugar, what did you say there? I wonder if, for example, rice was a consideration. So, and if so, why didn't you pick that? Well, that's why I didn't pick that, because I was looking for one food that I could eat, and I guess technically I'm not strictly just eating potatoes, but I'm having potatoes with just something to flavour them and not make them incredibly boring. So yeah, just a bit of sauce, herb spices, and salt. And but yeah, so the rice diet has a plain white rice with lots of fruit on it, and yeah, so that wasn't. It just couldn't be done with rice on its own, just with a bit of flavouring. You had to have the fruit and sugar and all sorts of stuff with it. So that's why I didn't go with rice. Anyway, in the end, I settled on potatoes. Now let me explain how I arrived at potatoes. So when I first decided I wanted to see if there was one food I could live on solely, I can't remember exactly what I searched for in Google, but I put a search in Google, something along the lines of like the perfect food, or what is the perfect food, or something like that, or what is the healthiest food, or what could I live on, or I can't remember. It's too long ago, but anyway, I did a search. The top search that came up was a video on the Veg Sauce YouTube channel. So if you Google Veg Sauce or go YouTube search Veg Sauce, it's it's an excellent channel with lots of high quality educational videos on nutrition and other things. And the video that came up was entitled "Potatoes, the Perfect Food," and it was a 2 or 3 minute video of Dr. John McDougall explaining potatoes, why he considers potatoes the perfect food. And there's a lot of information in it. It goes through the history of humans eating starches throughout history, all long-term successful populations throughout history of being starch eaters, and then it goes into potatoes specifically, and talks a lot about all the nutrition that's available in potatoes, and how the Irish survived on potatoes, and then how people in the Andes ate a lot of potatoes. And anyway, you can watch that video, but there's a lot of amazing and fantastic information in that, and it also talked about some studies that have been done. So then from there I continued on and did some research into some other scientific studies that have been done with people surviving on potatoes, and I looked up, I can't remember the guy's name now, but if you Google 20 potatoes a day, there's a guy that lived on only potatoes for 60 days, and I wish I could remember his name. Chris Voigt? Might be Chris Voigt. I think it's Chris Voigt. I'm sorry if I got that wrong, but I'm pretty sure the site that is called 20 Potatoes a Day. So I read through that and read about his experience doing it for 60 days, and that was really helpful too. And there was also the consideration that potatoes can be eaten at least in a number of different ways. So I did seriously consider bananas and mangoes, but the things that made me go with potatoes were, number one, there are plenty of examples of people throughout history and in science surviving and being totally healthy on just potatoes, or close enough to just potatoes anyway. So since it's been done, I was confident it could be done again. There's bananas and mangoes and other things, they probably could be done, but there just wasn't the body of evidence to support that it has been done in the past. So that was a big consideration for me. Also, potatoes, you could have them in a variety of ways, and when I thought about bananas or mangoes or whatever else, it was like, how many ways can you eat a banana without smoothieing a banana? Because I didn't want to smoothie them because of what I explained about drinking food and stuff. So, yeah, all I could think of was just eat a banana, or maybe, I don't know, put some chocolate on it or something when I didn't want to use chocolate. So the variety that you can have with mash, that was a consideration. And the last thing was that it would be much cheaper. Potatoes are cheaper than the other things. So, but the main thing was that there's so much evidence to support doing this with only potatoes. So that was the consideration. And so there you go. That's it. That's how I decided on potatoes. So yeah, there was this has all happened over a number of weeks. We're probably talking, I can't remember exactly, somewhere between 3 and 5 weeks, I'd say. And it was a lot of reading science as well as books. Maybe I should talk about what I actually read. So I did a lot of research of Dr. John McDougall's work. He's written a book called The Starch Solution, which is excellent. So look up The Starch Solution. That's a great book. I watched an excellent documentary called Forks Over Knives. I read a book by Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn called Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease. I read some Neil Barnard stuff from the website PCRM. Just look up PCRM, Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. I read some stuff there. I also read an Australian website, which is actually run by my doctor. I'm pretty sure it's called Whole Food Plant-Based Health. Maybe Australia. I've got to remember these names. I'm going to make a page on my website with links to all the research I did. I'll do that at some stage. Life is busy, but I'll get there. So I did just, what else did I read? I read the China study. I read lots of stuff. I'm not going to bore you with all the details, but start with The Starch Solution, I recommend. Another book that I didn't read that in my research. I'll tell you about that another time. But anyway, The Starch Solution. I recommend starting with that. I'm babbling. I'm going to stop now. That's how. There's the story of how and why I arrived at the decision to make potato the food that I would go with for this challenge. There you go. So, thanks Hakan from Sweden for sending me a question. If anyone else would like to email me, you can email me at, go to my website, spudfit.com, and there's a contact me page there, spudfit.com. You can contact me through there. You can also contact me through my Facebook page. Just look up SpudFit on Facebook, and you can write comments and questions below. It's starting to get harder for me to keep up with emails and messages, but I do definitely read them all, and I think I've replied to all of them so far, but I can't guarantee I will in the future. But I'll do my best to read them all, and all these emails give me ideas for making videos. So here you go. I haven't replied to Hakan properly, but hopefully this video will do for you, Hakan, and anyone else who's been asking that question. All right, there you go. That's why I'm eating potatoes, and that's why I'm not eating other stuff. Cheers. Spud up.